It's hard to believe in today's evening mind shift that happened to me. I want to share that one day mind shift that was just crazy as fuck. I don't know. just it just completely changed everything I see in my life now, and that story would be amazing. Let me fixate micro so you don't need to toggle the volume. First of all, I still feel lost. Like there are a lot of things have happened to my in my life that shouldn't be happening, and they knew it, and they still did those mistakes. But I still think it's fixable, and we're going to talk about it. At 22 years old, 3 years ago, I was working as a waiter, and I feel like something was wrong. I was like a trainee waiter there, and nobody around could really be even close to respect me in terms of salary and everything around, and was just like it was just crazy. I don't know, that was just crazy. The task was to learn the menu in cafe, in restaurant, to learn ingredients, and I couldn't do it. I was like a helper waiter. I was just washing dishes. And that's me dramatizing the 22 years old consensus, where you like, yeah, in this age, you're becoming this age, and you realize that you're, you're just waiter helper. And that's just driving you crazy because you see everybody around like become, to some extent, successful developers in their age for somehow, and you like not, and that just seems impossible, and you feel stuck about it. You really, really, really feel stuck about it. You just like don't understand the way why. You don't understand the why, and you feel that everything is against you and everything not in its place where it should be, and the following story will be crazy. I just couldn't force myself to learn this menu, those ingredients, and I decided that fuck it. I'd rather learn mathematics. I skipped the whole university. I didn't finish it. Like first semester I dropped out. And as soon as I figure out that I have ADHD and figure out at least the way uh how I can work with it and what I can do, everything have changed. Like that was so crazy. Um, and the mind shift I have right now is so freaking crazy. I decided that I better would learn math from the level zero, and I started to learn. I spent 1 month. It was like first year. I finished the first year, which I dropped out then back then. Then second year, I supposed to learn theory of electrical circuits and something else, and I couldn't comprehend it with also math and full time job. So I just learned math again, but very very deep. I took the whole responsibility on myself and went through those courses. Yeah, as if I would be a full time engineering student. I don't know, like what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that yeah, that was the second year. The third year has come, and I did exactly the same. We also had electronics, basic electronics, analog, and then digital. But when it was analog electronics, I had also so many math courses uh, there. We have so freaking program. It's like evening school, but the amount of like I can master one hard subject in 1 month because it takes me a week to focus, and 2 to 3 weeks to solve problems and to review the material and write everything down and check and make sure that I understand everything and I understand the language in which it describes and what it tries, intentions of what is written in the book. And it's happening really, really slow. I have daily responsibilities, which is very, very fast job, like management, just making one ticket there and here. In the evening time, where it time for research lab, where I start to research. So, yeah, and I continued just to do math. We live in Eastern Europe. Courses there are just made up to be good on the paper, and they are good on the paper, but amount of subjects is somewhere nearly impossible to master all of them. And I was lost, like because I wanted to study electronics, but I had no time with my full time job and everything. That was crazy. What happened next? And also we like have no labs, no practical experience. Nobody teaches you. You teach by yourself. And I learned only from books. I didn't learn any physical. I learned only math and the way of logical thinking and its approaches. And I came back to my home country, to my family, and I was wondering, like, I didn't even know that I applied to electrical engineering degree. I didn't even know what it is like. And instead of learning analog electronics from the beginning, I was study I was studying control systems theory and plus um that what was that? It was data science and data analysis. And that was also cool. Like, I just thought it's a cool career to go. It's on demand, and I should probably, with all that math background and no practical skills with electronics, to like go there. And then I went to some company to go through trainee in data science and machine learning. And I expected it to be like close to tuning models and making up models architecture and to be everything like in the right way. And then there I figure out that like nobody does it. We just make AI agents. And I was terrified. I spent so much time in science while I came to industry and it kind of sucked. And I also was terrified on the side of my electrical engineering degree because it was like I had no practical experience and I skipped the possibility to make a lab at home to make all that things working and also skipped microprocessor courses. But all that was crazy. I didn't feel like it really I didn't feel I feel interested about it, but I wasn't even sure. Like, I don't know what even to tell. I have no excuse why I didn't do it because like that was the most important thing to me in life, and I exchanged it because I thought in data science I would find something amazing and beautiful. And I went to this internship and it sucked so much. It's so dull. It's like I get nothing out of it because that was just solid Python backend programming, which is even the language was just a way of realization for me. I stopped to think even in those categories where you're just doing something exactly. As spending so much time in math, I started to think the way in the abstract way about things and about their logical nature, I would say, and the logical objects relations. And that the way I felt like as a waiter, when I felt like I don't deserve it, I can do something 10,000 times harder to keep myself engaged into life, and I would rather do it for free than do this waiter bullshit learning this menu. It just doesn't feel as something that I should learn. So yeah, I went to study math. That was crazy, and that worked out kind of to some extent. I don't know, like the way you're learning at evening school is like you teach everything by yourself, or you getting through the book and through problems examples, and then just you training yourself, and while you're training you just becoming better. So I live in Eastern Europe. Our Yeah, our education is kind of a bit strange, and my life is a bit strange to some extent, and I feel especially strange in a stranger body right now, because now I'm kind of Python developer backend, which I again feel like I can make 10 10,000 times harder things with the right people in right place if they would only understand the way I approach things. Like I can be teached and trained to be to solve anything in this world if I would be given just time, social group, and money. I would learn anything. Like if you need microelectronics or something complicated, just give it to me, give me teacher, and I can duplicate it from the teacher to myself, and I can explain it to other people and duplicate as much of them as possible. So it is the obvious way I can do. I can make for this society a big impact. Like I can explain things very, very well, and I can understand things from the very, very fundamental level, but it happens slow. It's like the thing of my brain, it takes a long time to focus on some exact topic, on some bounded amount of topics, but making it through, and I can explain it to others in very, very simple terms, and make and probably finding for this application. um and you might feel as a stranger, like that's the thing that happening to me and happening up to now, and that's what's bringing, what's making me sad right now, because I feel it again. I feel this, that I'm in the bubble. I can do great things. I'm absolutely sure. I know it. I've done a lot of them. I've done things that I thought isn't possible ever to understand and make up, and I've done them. And I'm sure that everything is possible in this world. Everything you can master, from rigorous physics with calculus up to quantum mechanics. But like quantum mechanics seems something that would take a lot of time to really, really understand and be able to explain to others. But that's also a perk of my mentality, that I either understand things fully, from super fundamentals to everything on top, either I don't understand them at all. I don't have anything in between, and it always takes time. And the society doesn't really trust it. Society doesn't really trust it, doesn't really trust the way, this way. Nothing works in this way. And that's driving me crazy. um because my salary right now, even being a Python dev, is something not as big. While I even feel that software development isn't something that could, like, I worked at sales at some point, and with my motivation and possibility to communicate, I was making good money, and I'm sure I can make much more in sales. And the only thing that I couldn't run, I have so strange the way I approach life and the way I want things to be, but not just like I want them to be the way, but it is the way it works for me. uh it's just, I don't know. At my first sales job, I was thrown in an environment where I had to communicate with clients in English even without being really good at it, and that was helped me to learn English. The same way, almost the same way, happened with math. I just had a very good teacher, which I literally never see, and I see that society need those teachers, and I see that society really needs people who can explain things in very well, very well, very well, and understand things as well, and study hard things, because we have so many graduates, I think, I believe, with no understanding. Like, could anybody on this planet explain me literally with 100% being sure what the integral is, why was it invented, and what we need it for? Like, I can explain it for 100%, and I'm going to prove to those who know. um no, I'm not going to explain. It's probably going to take 20 to 30 minutes explaining the only one thing, integral, and I'm going to explain it. I can explain it in rigorous notation with some preparation, maybe, while preserving the sense and intuition on understanding it. And I can do it with everything I learn. With everything I learn, I can do this. And I love learning so much, being in this state and absorb the information. But the biggest problem is kind of, I don't have people who understand the way I think. I don't have anybody around the society, the right environment. I'm just hidden in this Eastern Europe country doing some nonsense, which everything feels like not the right way. I don't know. Even my evening school degree, I didn't know what to do with that electrical engineering degree. I could study electrical circuits analysis if I would be given enough time, probably. Uh, I couldn't tell I'm professional at it, but remember, I said I either have no experience, or like I either sure about what I study or not. So yeah, and I feel like, I don't remember. I thought it's like two, three concepts is just like, it's something that you're just doing by your hand a lot and you're figuring it out. It's just practical skill, I'd say. Yeah, it's not that hard. It's just like solving thousand integrals. With a good teacher, it's not a problem at all. And I see this gap, and I don't see anything hard in being a good teacher. And I would like to be one, plus be student at the same time, and produce a lot of people who like understand things on the deeper level and have the right logical understanding of their world. And I think we need a lot of people like this in a way more educated society. And I think the education is the biggest problem. I was so burned with it when I was working as a waiter that I decided that almost everything I will teach to myself by myself, even though it might take much longer time for me to understand things. But I'm going to do it, and that what will make me happy. Even though with this attitude, I wouldn't be fully ready to learn everything on electrical engineering degree. I wouldn't be able to take probably physical experience with assembling circuits or something that just did, yeah. And I wouldn't be able to do anything with it probably, and even apply it at any job. But I'm going to teach myself, and I want to know, and I will know. That Hilbert said We want to know and we will know. But it was in German. Wir müssen, I don't remember it in German. The same way with languages. You could tell that this person don't know like languages 2 3 years ago. I still don't know, seems to be. And um yeah, but I learned it uh, in practice, and I can learn literally everything as every person, and I'm absolutely sure everyone can learn absolutely everything with a good teacher, and everyone can be creative, and we probably can accelerate our race like 10,000 times. But like almost everything what I see in this world, like I have so many. The only problem I have is my emotional intellect on daily basis is like so limited from what I can absorb in the way it's given in the reality on daily basis. I'm like really slow thinker, and I just don't know. Like nothing seems to work for me, and nothing seemed to work for me at moments back in time. But the only thing that worked for me is silently study at evening hard things which made me so engaged because I feel that they are important, like mathematical notation, logic, and other things. And I'm literally so interested in computer architecture and operating systems. We have no courses with that, and yeah, we had no time, we skipped it in the classes, like in the classes we like we didn't have possibility. Like that's crazy. I don't know, I'm so cringe of it. I'm cringing because I'm pretty sure I can do so much more with the right environment, and everything seems to be falling apart because I can't learn just because I need a reason. I need somebody like exam to be in 2 3 months, so somebody can verify that my knowledge is right, and I can show that I'm a good guy. I don't know. That's the way my brain works, and I feel so broken about it because we have a lot of people. I don't know how many people we have around the world like this, but like the market today values you as only engineer with practical experience and so on, and you could tell as much as possible for how potentially good you can be or whatever you want. But like everyone looks at only what you have, and at the moment when you accept it to the working place, like also the job takes a lot of hours and might take a lot of your brain capacities, especially if it's connected to something intellectual. That's why I worked in sales and management for so long time, because it just made me communicate with people and it's gave me so much energy. I'm drawing, by the way. And yeah, and I like to have as less stress as possible, but I literally need to survive somehow. But I also want to make research. I also want to study. I also want to teach. Teaching doesn't pay that well. I also have ADHD, which we have no medications in on the local market, and I just feel crazy. If I only could be given the possibility just to come back in time and sit with the electronics and find the right teacher, find the right environment, um, yeah, probably we would be creating some robots right now or making some research. It always seems easy until you start doing it, honestly, with everything. It is especially cool with math. You might think that you genius until you take one more course. And when you take one more course, you understand that you know nothing. And there are a lot of people in that world who are way smarter than me, can operate much faster, but they probably don't have that possibility and intention to communicate, being into environment and doing things. And I find it so hard in like my environment to like, I don't know. I think that person, every human is potentially is a gold with its intellectual possibilities, and it is your responsibility to figure out how to apply it. Yeah. So, and if you don't have just the right environment, it's going to be a very very big problem if nobody around listens to you. You just should go and prove and spend so much time into probably teaching yourself by yourself. And even though you could be accelerated with a good teacher, with good book, and like, if I could copy myself, I don't know, I would be finishing PhD right now, because I would explain to myself a lot of things, and probably we would all create something. uh, yeah, I do think it's possible. I would be just giving a small responsibility to everyone, every copy of me, and you could say I'm a dreamer, okay, but every scientist is a dreamer, and like grown up children with like, what is being realistic like when I was a waiter, my girlfriend also told me that be realistic. Why would you go to the university to study math at your 22 years old while you was doing some nonsense all the time before? And I told her, I don't care about your opinion, um, honestly, because if you're preventing me from doing science and research, it genuinely something wrong with you, because I believe it's so in it so deeply, because like science literally made all of us possibility to communicate with each other, find so many information, and like it still made the life so much better for everyone, and it's so important thing. Yeah. And that's probably the only thing that I deeply believe, and every person should probably believe only in science. I don't say about God right now, I'm saying about like just basic logic. And I believe that, yeah, everyone what is described in science is everything what we see on daily basis, but in exact terms and very very in every detail, with nice formalization. And I believe it's it is very interesting, because that's the only thing I'm asking myself actually, not just like how it work. I want to know exactly how it work, how other people approach that thing to make it work, and that's what math help us to understand how exactly things are working, and so on. And I don't know how much of time I should spend. I would like to spend the whole life of for learning, or like, okay, not the whole life, but the next like 6 to 7 years, and I don't know how to make it work. Like, I kind of should work full time, and I have no possibility to show up nothing for my family in 6 years. I also know that it's possible to study abroad with having some, you know, um, payings. So for your life, if you're really really good at something, but like turning my brain work is really hard sometimes to point to something exactly. It's still possible. It's just hard to I just like to explore things so much and new courses. I usually don't want to come back to something that I already touched and understood fundamentally as a deep learning. I don't want to go through interviews because I already understood it. And you probably should put a gun on top of my head so to let me go through this course again. But it's engaging course. I would be even going through it. I don't mind. But like I already touched it and I fundamentally see what it is because I see the mathematical notation and explanation of it. I also would be interested in how exactly the modern models are working, but it's also not that much of math involved there. It's just like linear algebra. Okay, whatever. And I learned math and mathematical notation just by solving problems. I learn everything practically. It's so crazy. And I would like to continue to learn that way. I wanted to continue with physics on my third year of studying, while physics is supposed to be given on the first year or second year. But like, I didn't feel ready for that on the first or second year. When only I feel enough of math maturity, I wanted to go for it, and still it was so painful for me that it's not that much of used in electronics except of control theory where you have to optimize and find the optimal way. It seems interesting, and it's also a big pain that most of jobs, as I'm studying for controls, and like controls don't pay that much to people who, like, you can be qualified and pass exam on semi level, but like when you're trying to understand the discipline as well, like as me, you just understand it on so deep level that you can't even imagine how, like, like I like the abstract way and logic that much. I really didn't want to put it into engineering something exactly. I don't want. I saw like abstract forms. I'm drawing them all the time. um I look like a crazy person saying that, but I was ashamed to say it 3 years ago before I started to study math. I thought, like, I knew I can do hard things, but I never done them really, and that's why I didn't let myself to talk about it. The things which I can let myself to talk now because I have the actual proof, and now I know how to do the things, and I'm pretty sure that everything is possible. But the problem is how to get a person from that to, like, through proving to everyone around that you're able and you need to do things in a special way. How to, like, the only way is to, like, I don't know, manage yourself and being lucky to get the right job which also allows you to study at evening, and like, I don't know, being sacrificed with a lot of things, and like, I don't know, I just want to continue to explore abstract forms. And I didn't know that math was about it, to be honest. At the beginning, I didn't know anything about baccalaureate level math on electrical engineering. Um, yeah, I want to put something hard in my head, like abstract algebra right now to me, please. But nobody pays for that, and I need to have a job to keep my stress level low, and I don't know how to, like, put all that things together. There are a lot of people in the world, great mathematicians, who, like, I don't think make a lot of money, and I don't think it's anything really complicated in science. But a lot of people couldn't find approach, and that's what is that channel about. It's called Find Your Approach. So nobody cares what works for you. Only you can sacrifice. Tell everyone around, fuck off. I want to do my thing. I don't want to study this restaurant menu. I'm going to study math for 3,500 of hours for the next several years just because I want. And I'd rather starve than now learning something instead of what I really consider important. And who said it bad? Of course, you need to like still count on other people and communicate and being like able to do things. I'm not saying that you should be absolutely like disabled, but yeah, that's what I also learned. Respect people, and that's a very important lesson to me. I I love people now, honestly, and I never thought I would say it ever, but I genuinely feel like for the last 3 years, while I was learning what I wanted and did at the job something that nobody could like make me stressful and still be getting at least some pay, I was so happy. And now I don't even know what to show my portfolio for. Like, I'm ready to do any job and I'm ready to study whatever it's needed. But, like, how do I get to this point? I don't know. Maybe everybody feels that way, but it is the way I feel. And I'm hoping, I don't know, maybe this video will find somebody who could advise me on what, not just like what to do, but help to learn, probably, I don't know, or learning buddy or somebody who is also interested in learning and finding the right career, because I have both communication and research skills. It's like so weird combo of like, I'm learning practically. I have a very high tendency to abstract thinking, communication, and being and possibility to understand other people very very well and what they want. And like, that's so strange combination of skills, which is like so hard to get into. Like, studying practically, like most of the books are written theoretical and you don't understand them until you've done some amount of problems. Communicate to people, those jobs don't pay well sometimes or usually. um and what else I said? Tendency to abstract thinking, that doesn't pay you as well until something, I don't know. Like, how could I like, I had a perfect state when I had like management job and was able to study, but at some point when management job started to take more than 8 hours of my day, it has become impossible to learn and study, and that makes me upset. I left it. That's why now I'm Python dev, and it also this job makes me crazy. I like it, but the working day could be reduced to 3 4 hours or even less, or even I would rather not to do that job, not to occupy my mind and be learning something more important. Like, how do you comprehend all of that? That's crazy. Oh my goodness.